Hello, everybody, and welcome to Untier Talk, the podcast where our meta gets added to Slam and made core before we can get a decent pair of microphones. Because, yay! Joined by me. Joined by me. That's not grammar. Joining me is the illustrious co-host and person who can actually talk much better than I can, Hijad.
Can I actually talk much better than you can? What the hell?
Well, to Americans, you have a British accent, which just makes you sexier. So, to Americans, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. We like that. We like to hear that. Buff my ego a little bit.
Of course, to other Brits, you're like the lowest rung on the ladder.
Unfortunately,
you're
yes.
You're like,
unfortunately, that is the case. Yes.
You're below. Who's like the newest Brit? Toy Time? Is Toy Time British? I'm not sure.
Toy Time King.
Yeah.
I think he's British. Yeah.
That's British. I thought. Yeah, you're like right below him. That's where you are.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take my place below him. It could be worse.
Anyhow, I guess we should start off with the whole core meta thing. Honestly, as tier leader, I really wish it came from more of like a PU side thing.
Mm-hmm.
Core meta kind of got dropped on us out of nowhere, and I'm super excited to see where it takes us. And there's definitely going to be larger upcoming details, more of an announcement talking about that. But as our circuit winds down, more like closer just to the end of the year, which will still be a little bit before circuit ends, but by the end of the month, there'll definitely be more details on how core meta changes things. All core meta means is that we're now in an official tour. We have been, the TD said yes, PU is going to be in Grand Slam instead of Ubers for 2019, right off the back of the big Grand Slam scandal where the last Ubers Open was rigged, just like the one before that, meaning the last real unrigged Ubers Open winner was fucking Hack back in 2016. The Uber's TL who's quit like months and months and months ago. He's the last legitimate Uber's Open winner. So yeah, off of that, PU got added, and like I said, I don't like how it happened. I don't like that there is any kind of tour rigging, but yeah, we're coming to Slam, and that's gonna be a huge thing in the future. Like, it's not a big discussion point just because so much has happened in the last couple weeks. But it will be, come 2019, a large focus for PU.
For sure. I just wanted to add to that, and I wanted to say nobody might be the greatest Uber's player of all time. And I'd also want to say that...
nobody with 2 Slam wins?
Yep, nobody has got 2 Opens to his name, which is, I think, the most in Uber's history.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, because I don't think it's really fair to like be on a dead horse at this point, to be honest. But
no, I'm not bringing this up to bang on Ubers, just to say like there really isn't a whole lot of PU side news. As a tier, like I fully expected to be like in a huge big thread debate, arguing for the right to PU again. That's what we've done a couple years in a row. I was getting Tasker all prepared for that job too, and then it literally just kind of got dropped down.
Yeah, I think the situation, like I've seen a lot of people say the situation sort of isn't ideal, and I sort of agree with that. Like, ideally, we should get like promoted to Slam through PU's like, focus and tier and, significant reasons, like improvement reasons, but I've also been hearing that we just need to take this opportunity at this point.
Well, let's be clear. PU has improved significantly. Last Slam, we had like 3 non-mains in finals, and that is something that was not surprising. It's absolutely expected. Those 3 non-mains are like better PU players. And, removing us from Slam, especially with the size of the tour, is at least like really understandable. But for us to get in over Ubers is still, like, if PU was not ready, there would have been other options for the TDs to, go back to doubles OU, for example. Work more strongly with Ubers, I guess. I guess go back to doubles OU is the only other one. I don't even know if the TDs considered that. I have no idea. But PU has gotten significantly better in the last year. Like this year, we specifically went with an 8-player circuit playoffs because we didn't really want to expand it to 16 people and see who that would allow to qualify. And I agree that the competitiveness of our final circuit definitely would have been very different with a 16-man playoffs, like pretty much every tier is. But for next circuit, I think we're definitely going to go with 16 because I think the amount of like good competition in PU has gotten so significantly better over the last year, and core meta is a big thing that will allow that to grow and get promoted as more people take PU seriously, more people go play. We got the Slam Tour. Just because we kind of got it out of nowhere does not mean that PU hasn't just gotten so much better in the last year. A lot of which running up from a lot of Galbia policies too. Wish he was still here.
Rip Galbia.
Rip Galbia.
F Galbia.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of F Galbia, I'm taking over. I am taking over Untier University, which segues nicely into our next discussion. Smogon Exhibition is back. The team tour that everyone half remembers and half forgets. Smogon Exhibition is for every meta that is not an SPL but is still a core or official meta. So it's a team tour with Ubers, LC, PU, and Monotype. And it just kind of brings everything together. And, PU only has one team tour a year in PUPL, or only had. So I'm really happy that we get together to bring this back. Hadjad, you will be co-managing with me. We're going to bring back the team that won the tour last year. Untier University. I'm excited.
I'm also excited. This is probably one of the first, how do you say, proper tours, I guess, that I've managed. So, our experience in PU should, as well as other tiers. Like I know you're quite like.
I'm in circuit playoffs for 3 out of 4 of these metas. I'm in LC, Ubers, and PU ribbon circuit playoffs, so I think I'm pretty much one of the most qualified managers. Well, okay, aside from like half of Smogon hating me, I'm one of the most qualified managers. But yeah,
Smogon Exhibition, go, yeah, that's it. I think this Smogon Exhibition will sort of put a marker down, I think, for PU as a sort of how competitive is this tier at the moment, given its current resources. With the meta in its current shape, I feel like there will be a lot of people who will sign up that haven't necessarily played PU before, but are good players just in overall way, as an overall thing. So it should be really interesting. I'm really interested to look at who's going to sign up for PU, who's going to play in PU specifically.
For sure. And I think you could argue that of the metas, PU is probably the easiest for a random tour player to try their hand at. Unless they have prior experience with LC, just because LC is like in other officials and stuff.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, skill in OU probably translates to skill in PU much, much easier than it would skill in LC or Ubers or any other tier for that matter. So I feel like or even Monotype, because Monotype is a lot of from my experience, there's a lot of baiting for matchup and playing out your matchup.
There is, although there are a lot of OU players and stuff that go play like Monotype Winter Premier League, which is like Monotype. It's like a sub monotype Premier League where they have a bunch of monotype other metas like mono almost any ability, mono stabmons, things like that. It has like a bunch of OU players and whatever. You got like Finchinator and Obi and Roses and Star and people like that. So people definitely get into monotype. I'll be starting there as well. That's a fun tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, Exhibition has a lot more eyes on it because we're also in another team tournament right now, but not a Smogon official thing. It's the Discord Premier League, a kind of random thing run out of Discord servers, but with like mostly all Smogon affiliated people, run by like Little Lucario and a guy named Halu. I don't actually know what his Smogon name is, to be honest, after all this. Like, earlier this evening, I had my tour match against TJ. I think it was a really good game. Did you even know that? Did you even know that I played TJ? Probably not, because not a lot of people are really looking at this.
I think what I do remember, I remember you Wait, no, I don't remember you complaining. I remember TJ saying that he would have won without you, without the hacks. I just remember that from the server, and I went to see.
Did he? I didn't see him.
Yeah, he said something. I think I saw something like that in the PU Discord, and I was like, "Oh, what game was this for?" And he said the Discord Premier League. So I went quickly and checked the replay, and it was like, it sucked. That game was sucky.
That game was. I thought that was a fun game.
Yeah, it was one of those games where it's like, if you didn't miss the hurricane or whatever, it was like.
Oh no, not that game.
Oh, was it not that game?
No, totally different game. This was like less than an hour ago. No, this was an hour ago. Sorry.
Oh yeah, then no, I've definitely not seen it then. Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, PU is in this thing called Discord Premier League. Most people like aren't paying attention. Obviously, it's through Discord. It's not through Smogon. There's a lot of weird stuff. I figured I'd throw it out there because if you want to go spectate it, there are actually some decent matches. You could ask how to get there in the PU Discord or whatever. Most teams have a PU player. Not all teams do. But, you got people like me and Hajad and TJ all playing PU, so there's something for you. But it's not really a big topic to talk about, especially since we have so much happened. I mean, of all the times to miss a week, which, by the way, was because the bottom floor of my apartment flooded because it rained really hard and we don't build so good, apparently. Yeah, last Saturday, which is a little over a week ago, I woke up. Oh no, that would have been Sunday then, because I was gonna say I woke up at like 1 a.m. ish to like 2 inches of water on the floor.
That's pretty water.
No, there's no always 2 inches. There was a good inch of water, but there's no always 2 inches. But yeah, that was why we skipped that week. It was a little hairy. But I'm alive, dude. My week has just been fucked. Like I have to start eating more now because apparently I'm too thin and it's a problem. I'm like below healthy weight. So,
all right.
Have you ever have you ever seen people have to do? I actually know someone else who's like so thin he started fainting, so the doctor made him like start eating a lot more food and stuff. Just to gain weight.
Yeah, I'm not expert on that stuff, but I do think he should probably, if he's starting to faint because he's too light, then yeah, he should probably start eating more. I do agree with his doctor's diagnosis there.
No, I mean I'm not that bad, but yeah, like I don't know, shit's just weird. So yeah, sorry we missed another week. And I'm also kind of dominating the conversation. Okay, so we talked about Exhibition, we talked about Discord Premier League, we talked about Slam. What else? Okay, yeah, the circuit. PU circuit is almost here. This is the most impactful tour, I think I would say, except for PU like ever. Maybe I guess Slam 2016, but like. That got hurt in hindsight by the fact that PU then got removed from Slam. This is a big deal, and we are like by tomorrow we should know all the qualifiers. What we've got is I believe tomorrow Pills and Tasker are supposed to play, and the winner is going to qualify as the 8th seed, if I'm not mistaken. This is for the current seasonal
Hype
semifinals.
match. Hype match. It will be tomorrow it will be today, wouldn't it? By the time you're listening to this, right?
Yeah, it'll be today by the time people are listening to this. In fact, this might go up before the match. If you can spectate it, I'm not going to be able to catch it live, but two very good players. I'm definitely excited. Obviously, everyone who's qualified, um, looking very strong. If Pills qualify, there would definitely be a bit of an upset. Tasker not making it into this, being arguably like a top 5 PU player, would definitely be big. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to get the results, and then the unexpected qualifier right now, I guess, is Ziri,
Mm-hmm.
who, in fairness, um, has generally had a lot of quite easy brackets and not made like that many, not taken that many big wins if you go through their tour history. But like they 2-0'd me today, um, entirely
Big
on
win.
matchup. Like for the most part, like I outplayed Ziri like really hard game one, but it didn't matter. I just had no matchups. But like they're there. They can at least have some good solid prep. So I don't think that's. I think they'll be able to put up a strong fight this season. Things are looking. I just think I really hope that PU managed to get behind this tour, just because I don't necessarily think before this year we're used to having a lot of big tours like other metas are. Like OU always has big tours, the Spectate, but even like NU and RU, whatever, they're always looking at their big tours, using tour results to talk about the VR and fueling meta discussion. PU's never really had these tours, never really been about that, and I think that's just a great thing for any meta. So that's something
Yeah.
I'd like to foster. Go spectate tours and talk about tours and take them
Yeah.
seriously. And I am talking way too much. You take over. Jesus.
Well, one thing I do feel like with this PU season coming up, or the playoffs, I think we're going to start to see a lot more meta development or meta shifting, I guess you can say, given the fact that the top 8 players, essentially, well, mathematically, I guess you could put it, are all going to be building to beat one another. And as a result, what's going to happen is that a lot of people will start to seek for matchups and little gains. And usually, when you have the top players and the top minds thinking about how they want to counter team each other, usually that's where you get the next best thing coming out. The crazy tech, the thing that becomes the meta. The flavor of the month Pokemon, if you want to say so. All those things will become or will happen much quicker. I'll also, because at the end of the day, if you stay static in any meta, in any tier, people will find you out and people will expose you for it.
Hello, me. If anyone wants a concrete example, I've been recycling teams for a couple months now, and I just got so strongly 2-0'd on matchup. I lost to TJ real bad a couple weeks ago. Like, if anyone wants a specific example, go watch some of my recent tour games.
Yeah,
anyway, continue.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where if you're going to bring the same team for the next year, that eventually people are going to say, oh, this guy keeps bringing the same team, I'm just going to CT it and hope I get matchup. It doesn't happen exactly like that, but people will think somewhat linearly across that line. This guy keeps bringing this type of team. He enjoys using this type of core. I'm going to make sure that if he has this comfort zone, he's not comfortable in the game using that team, because that will give me the advantage, crucially. And also because there's more on the line as well. Like, if you want to win the PU circuit tour, you get that nice ribbon, and you also you get the plaudits, I guess you can say, for SM. So 100%, I'd go along the lines of it's we're more likely now to see something happen in the meta, a lot more meta development as well. But that's the exciting thing for me about this upcoming season.
Yeah, and people are already calling this meta static and calling for a suspect and whatever. I think that's complete bullshit. I've said it every time. If you think this meta is static, you were talking about how you get tours to influence flavors of the month and stuff like that, and we are still seeing that very strongly. The last we did a VR update a few days ago, and unanimously voted to raise Alolan Exeggutor because that is like a current big flavor, kind of out of nowhere, just popping up in the last couple weeks. I think really it took off.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
I do not get. People say that we need a suspect and this meta is stale, and oh my god, are you? What tours are you watching where all the teams really look the same and there's not experimentation with new interesting stuff? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's one of them. It's one of the weird ones where it's sort of like. For people to really, I think, thrive in this meta, they have to be good outside of their comfort zone. They have to be good using all different styles and archetypes, which I think is an attribute to a skillful player. You can't just play the same team, plus minus 2 Pokemon every single week and win all your games. I feel like that little bit of risk, I guess you can say, with in terms of if you bring an all-out wall breaker, one of the big 3 wall breakers, or however we want to describe them, is there's still risk behind that. They aren't, guaranteed one-shots every time they come in. I think people have adapted well, to be honest, to those specific, the big 3 wall breakers, the Jellicents, your Auroruses, your Agarons. I think
really, you don't want to put Stoutland on that? I would put Stoutland above Aurorus in that list. I mean, but really, like, big 3, they're still big, but they're also partially big because we have so many other that are, like, just behind them. Great wall breakers like Omastar, Aurorus, or Stoutland, whichever one you're not counting, Dodrio, Alolan Eggy, SD Alola Slash, and then as you go down, just still more random, your Alolan Dugtrios and offensive Articuno at this point is honestly like a big pain in the ass that people are talking about more. But yeah, I think there's definitely a connotation that like you can bring a Stoutland and plus Jellicent team and just like kind of kill things and have a brain dead good team, and I'm just not seeing it. We're seeing people start to use more interesting teams that are able to combat this kind of stuff. Just different and out there offenses with all these different kinds of Pokemon that we may not have seen as much, but they're running back into the meta. I think Alolan Raichu is picking up steam. Alolan Exeggutor, obviously. You got Articuno. You got Ludicolo. You got Roselia. You got random Silvali's died in the meta for a couple weeks. I think they're definitely coming back. Leafeon is picking up some usage. I don't know why. Leafeon's kind of stupid. And I think there's room for so much more. Like, there are a lot of top mons that we maybe don't see as much, but still could and should absolutely be top mons. And I think we'll just ideally, if we run to playoffs and people really bring their A game, I think we'll be seeing more of your Rotom Frosts and your Crabominables and Alolan Raticates and Combustions and Pyukumuku. Maybe not Pyukumuku. I don't know. Just I not only do I think that this meta hasn't been stale, but I think there's still so much more room to mess around. I don't know why we would want to suspect any of the PUBL mons or any of the current mons. The meta could and should be going places, and Circuit's definitely the number one place to look out for that.
Yeah, I will say though, if Circuit, if playoffs just happens to be 8 people recycling the same team, or recycling their own favorite team or whatever, then I think we should maybe, in that case, have a look at the meta.
That would
second consideration.
That would be a problem. Yeah. I don't see it as super likely. I think pretty much all the players are either known for mixing it up a lot or simply like will put more into it.
Yeah.
But also with the suspect thing, it would be bad to suspect anything during Circuit.
For
and
sure, yeah.
tier shifts are happening. Like the major shifts um, are happening in a month, and it looks like there's a decent chance that it'll shake up PU when
Yeah.
January comes. So even then, like a big suspect before the shifts in January. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. I'd say the thing is, like, you always have to look and at the meta, and you have to always think about the tour players first. And if you ask any tour player, would you rather play in a meta which is constantly changing or one that stays the same? Everyone would say a meta that stays the same, because when you have a static meta, you can afford to innovate. Otherwise, somebody will come out with a blind counter to you in changing metas, or someone discovers the new best archetype. Or
the more things are changing and weird and no one really knows exactly what's good, the harder it is to be consistent tour player. And I'm not going to say that we need to always have tour players be like the only and primary focus. But especially with it being circuit, the homegrown PU circuit, not outside things. Like I'm not as concerned about suspecting during exhibition or whatever. But something like the PU circuit that really is the culmination of a full year's worth of tours. That is not something that I would disturb lightly. Even for Smash Ultimate, I will prioritize circuit. Yeah, I went there even for Ultimate. God, I'm so hyped for that game.
Jesus. Well, he means it, doesn't it?
Nah, I mean, I'm not gonna be going off Mons for Ultimate. I can't. Like I said, I'm in 3 circuit playoffs right now, so
yeah.
I couldn't. And starting Monotype Winter Premier League, and starting Discord Premier League, and could be managing Exhibition. I couldn't drop Mons for Ultimate even if I wanted to. Anyway, sorry, I was gonna have to throw in an Ultimate reference somewhere here. It was just gonna
100%.
have to happen. Okay, let's jump to that VR update real quick. I think there's not been as much discussion of this shift, just because I think pretty much nothing here was super contentious. We dropped a bunch of shit that just needed to go down because it's been losing usage and it's been outclassed and having difficulties with Jellicent and Dodrion stuff for a while. And we dropped Jinx, Clefairy, Scyther, Spiritomb, Floatzel, Gourgeist Super, Sandslash. We bumped Alolan Egg and Metang and Ludicolo. None of that is really all that surprising, whatever. I think Alolan Eggy is kind of the story of the Mon that's kind of just coming out to really be a huge PU presence. But other than that, pretty standard, simple update.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't really know where to go from there. I just want to say that Metang is probably one of the better ones at the moment, just because of how good its roll compression is, to be honest, and also that it's not ridiculously passive as well.
People underestimate how much damage it can do because steel resists aren't really that thought about, and pretty much all of them just drop to earthquake, so you don't really need to worry about your offensive presence with it. It kind of just covers itself. But yeah, it's not something huge to talk about, but we're just trying to do a big news recap, and that is news. In fact, I can do a little recap of like a bunch of things that happened. PU Secret Santa is just a random project, but everyone should sign up for it. I'm not even a Christmas celebrating person, but PU Secret Santa is the most adorable project we have. A lot of other metas are actually copying it now. There's like UU Secret Santa and fucking Battle Spot Secret Santa and whatever. I don't think we copied it from anywhere else. I'm pretty sure it started in PU. I don't know. Either way, everyone, if you like PU, should go join that. It's just fun. Like, why would you not go join PU Secret Santa? Other things, Discord. Oh no, I mentioned Discord Premier League. That was just going to be a little mention. The PU Mini Classic has started. If you like PU Old Gens, then you can keep an eye on that. There's not a ton to mention on that one. It's just a thing that happened. We would have advertised signups, but we missed a week. Oops.
Yay. Well, I mean, the thing I like to see PU all gens. To be honest, I think I think IKEA has done a really good job to get like a really good coherent old gen system in place, and also like an active player base. Like you'd be surprised at how many people actually play DPP PU or Black White PU or ADV even like on a regular basis. So I 100%
DPP more than the others. The Black White and ADV are in really questionable spots. ORAS is basically a bunch of current gen mains like going back to play ORAS because they played ORAS, but DPP is in such like a weirdly good spot. It's just weird. But
I think that speaks testament to how it's a testament, to how IKEA has worked hard, to get a coherent meta in place. But and also like a player base, like it's difficult to get a player base for a tier that's dead. Like no, like if you look at DPP OU for example, there's not many people that actually play it apart from the people who played DPP OU back in the day. Of course there will be,
Well, to be fair, this is actually a bad time to say that because they are revitalizing a little bit. They're suspecting Latias at the moment, but
no, they are doing that. But yeah, I was saying is that like usually people don't go back to old gens once they're finished. They usually just drop off and people just say, oh, look, here's the new gen. Let's play this.
Yeah, they just pop up for random tours and Premier Leagues and whatever. But yeah, DPPPU gets like consistent play in the room. If you like old, I can't stand it personally just because it doesn't make sense. I've never been a no team preview meta kind of guy except for GBU for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, but I like that people like it, so
Yeah, I think I like it because I can run dynamic punch Machoke. That's the main reason.
God damn it. But, okay, other stuff that's happening. The mini analyses. I only just briefly want to shout out the fact that we dropped PU mini analyses, small brief analyses to upload for all of the Pokemon that are like garbage in PU, but are in PU and need an analysis on Smogon, and people reserved about 115 of them in a little over a week. They're all gone and reserved. So many are done. So if any of you write mini analyses, give yourself a huge pat on the back. They've been crazy good with how many people have taken them, just knocked them out of the park. We thought this was going to be a huge, long process of slowly and arduously getting through this. The response was mental. I could not have expected anything like this. So yeah, shout out to all you guys.
Yeah, I think it helps that they're kind of fun, No, it's like just shit ones in general.
Yeah, no, I mean that's why they succeeded, because everyone's like, ooh, I want to be able to put Spinda up on Smogon. Ooh, my favorite Pokemon is Fion, so let's do an iPhone analysis.
Yeah, I think it's I personally I like to see it just because the amount of people that will come into the room or whatever and say, oh, is this actually the best set for Ledian? And I'm just like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, having mini analyses is good and an overall benefit, but boy, I was afraid to be a huge pain and people just knocked them out, so that's cool. We actually rounded up to all the topics real fast because normally we take forever to talk about everything, but that was the whole list. I even got to talk about flooding, so yay.
Yeah, well, I don't mean yay. Why would you yay at flooding?
No, I got to talk about it.
What? Yeah, that's not a yay thing.
No, I just meant that, it wasn't even all just PU stuff. Got a little sidetrack, and this is still only 35 minutes to get through everything.
Wait, we haven't even finished yet. I have to do the gimmick corner.
No, I know, we're not done. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot of news. And then obviously part of the news was saying, hey, we're core meta now, but that doesn't really mean anything till the end of the year. No, it's still a big deal. And I'm just mentioning again, literally to remind you, PU's a core meta now. I'm really fucking happy. But yeah, for anyone who's like, I don't really get what the core distinction is, it'll mean more by the end of the month. So look forward to that. Yeah, I think we'll just do Jad's gimmick corner to close it out. Jad, what do you got for us this week?
Okay, so as per usual, I'm just looking through my team builder, looking for the thing that was in my head, and then it just left my brain as soon as you said a Jad gimmick corner. So speak about something. Speak about your favorite gimmicks this week, Megazord.
Some of my favorite gimmicks?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
well,
what have you been using this week?
Sure. So earlier today, I played that Discord Premier League game against Mr. TJ. And let me link you the replay, because literally turn 1 is when I get to use the gimmick. So it's a really fast way to show it off for you. Replay right there. Okay. So turn 1, you can see what I messed with, which I might have talked about like a long time ago at some point, but I haven't used this set in like months, and I never really got to use it in any big capacity until now, which is
Jesus. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Physically defensive Choppleberry counter Alolan Sandslash. The obvious way, literally the team was, hey, this team looks fun. Oh, but I built like really weak to Stoutland and Kangaskhan. What do? How about I change Alolan Sandslash to be physically defensive Choppleberry counter? Whoa!
Yeah, whoa, that's crazy.
Like, you can see how bad of a threat, how huge of a threat Stoutland is to this team.
Yeah.
Like, it is absolutely just a bonk. But turn 1, take 99% from Superpower, which is a very high roll. Chew the move, counter Oko. That's all you got to do. Physically defensive. Let me see. So the exact spread, you can probably optimize this or figure out a little better. But to guaranteed live a banded Superpower, you need max HP and 104 defense. And then I decided to go with 136 Jolly as the speed investment, which is what you need to outspeed Jellicent. So this is like full utility with only 20 attack left over. You could probably invest more in like defenses and just not bother creeping Jellicent. Especially this team is not Jellicent weak. I have Pursuit Skunk, I have Ludicolo, I have Silvally Water, so it's probably stupid. But yeah, it's all about like utility roll compression, Sandslash. It's not even the remover. The remover is Silvally, because obviously you can't really run Rapid Spin on the Pokemon that needs to be at 100% to take the Superpower. That'd just be dumb. Not that the team is really well built. Like, if Stoutland just clicked return on just a lot, like if Stoutland was preserved and played a long time, then it could have been real scary. But obviously, like, no one expects the set. It's just a surprise thing. But there is utility in the surprise factor, and without that, who knows if I'd be winning that game. Well, I mean, exactly. I'd still have a very good shot just because Ludicolo had a ridiculously good matchup. But yeah, physically defensive counter, Choppleberry, Alolan Sandslash.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty fun. I remember using Shoot Cut, but that was more specific. That was when we didn't have Stoutland in the meta. You remember when it left to Enu?
Mm.
Yeah, so everyone was using Kangaskhan, essentially. So you didn't really have to worry about the superpower threat.
Well,
so
Shuka was also... Well, Shuka wasn't just for Kangaskhan. It was also because we had fucking Archeops.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. But that was like... I remember it being, a pretty, a fun lure berry set as well. You could check so much with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I found my set, actually. I just found it. Basically, it's Assault Vest, Kadabra. I'm joking.
Fuck.
It's actually Offensive Defog Articuno.
Oh yeah. No, this is a good set. This is
the fire set. This is a set where you can actually defog on spikers, which is like impossible usually, like normally.
Mm-hmm.
Like most spikers, they just taunt whatever defog you have, even if it's like a Swanna in this case. Like Swanna isn't necessarily bulky, nor is it capable of switching into most of the stealth rockets either. Whereas Articuno switches in on Frostlass, Quillfish, and it also easily defogs on any Mesprit. That's not Carmine, Thunderbolt, Z type of stuff. Yeah, but that doesn't happen, does it? So, I think generally it's a good way of just really putting pressure, especially because it puts pressure on the Togedemaru. Togedemaru usually has a lot of pressure on it naturally because of its typing. So it's usually switching in on stuff, usually messing about, trying to pivot in, trying to get, cheeky U-turns off to rack up spikes damage. But with Articuno pressuring it as a full-on switch in, people will be much less inclined to risk it so easily, which often means that you can control the speed of the game a lot easier. I personally like to pair it with another spinner, so like a Hitmonchan, which isn't necessarily reliable, but something along those lines. A Hitmonchan, an Alolan Sandslash, a regular Sandslash if you're crazy, something like that. But yeah, it's just a really good set, and I think people should use it more.
I agree. I think the big thing is that finding the Mon that people cannot check, are not really prepared for, that is a big thing in the PU meta. That's not exactly a great thing. That is, I think, the biggest weakness of the PU meta. There's a lot of really fun experimentation and what's the word I'm looking for? Just improvement, I suppose, that you can have in the meta, where people are building on each other's work to come up with new smart teams. I'm not explaining myself. Okay. PU is really fun because you have just a lot of different stuff, and you can go really deep and explore and come up with these great new teams. And it's always been a meta that's kind of built on a lot of innovation, with there being a lot of depth to find, and the people who find the depth are rewarded for it, which is a good thing. The problem with PU, if there is one, it's not necessarily huge, is that at some points in that process, people definitely get really hard punished if they're not prepped for that new Mon, because it's new and no one's expecting it, and you can just kind of almost cheese wins with them. It's not like you discover a new Pokemon that puts on reasonable pressure, gives you an advantage, but the other person still has a chance. It's like, you weren't really prepped for Specs-a-Lolanegi, and I just blew you the fuck back. Ludicolo, no one really thinks about that, so I just kind of won, and there wasn't a lot you could do about it. That kind of happens to PU sometimes, and it's kind of that environment that fosters Articuno, where it's one of the more balanced things I think people are picking up on. There's still a lot of opportunity to outplay and outthink offensive Spikes Articuno. But at least at the moment, it is one of those Pokemon that's just seeing a lot of no one's exactly prepped for it, so that is really a huge boon. Aside from it probably being a good set, even if people were thinking about it more. Boy, I'm not happy with how that came out, but it's not like we edit this podcast, so that's staying.
Yeah, I just want to say that Articuno set in particular is just, I think it's one of the better ways of maintaining spikes control, because a lot of people tend to struggle with that specifically. A lot of people tend to struggle with the fact that Quillfish and Frostlass both get torn, and they're both really fast, and they both threaten a lot of stuff. So this is one of the more reliable-ish, I guess you could call it, ways of taking on the boys, the Spikes boys.
Mm-hmm.
Without being a passive thing as well. That was the main thing.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of things actually.
So, I think with that, we have come to the end.
I have to do a special mention. I have a special mention.
Go ahead.
Yep, I have a special mention. I'd like to shout out Assault Vest Roselia for being the greatest.
Okay.
Okay.
With that, I think we come to the end of yet another Untier talk. I hope you all have learned something. I hope your minds are expanded. I hope you're ready for Smash Ultimate.
Dude. I actually have a thing. The famous Untier talk that we did with Yogi, where we had like 3 sets or whatever that we had to share.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tasker used one of the sets that I suggested in that Untier talk, and he 6-0'd me with it. So.
Which set was that?
Big win for Untier talk. The sub pup toxic.
Oh yeah, there was in the PU seasonal game that happened. Tasker versus Ajad. I think it was game 3. Ajad brings stall. Tasker brings sub power up punch toxic return Kangaskhan, and it just
don't just do that. Like don't just like like throw me under the bus like that. It was Alolan Eggy stall. That's the key thing there. Okay, continue.
Well, I mean, what kind of stall is going to handle it? I'm just saying it kind of just 6-0's stall, and it's not like your stall was a bad stall. I'm not saying that. It's just like stall doesn't have the room to outplay bad matchups, and that was a case of, wow, that Mon literally just 6-0'd.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, there are things that stop it, but like specific Weezing sets or whatever, but yeah.
No, I was talking to Tasker about it a couple of months prior, which is what like freaked me out the most about it, because I was saying, if anybody brings stall, bring this set, and they will lose automatically. There's no way that they win unless they have Gerda on stall, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, this is actually a really good idea. Comes to two months later in the season, he just straight up destroys me in the game 3. So it's and that was also to get into semis as well. So that was quite a big game.
That is to give him the chance. Well, I mean, either way, the match of Tasker versus Pills, like deciding their entire circuit qualification. That's a big oof.
Okay, I promise I have no more wait left. Okay.
Wait. Smash Ultimate. Ah. Yeah, I think that's everything. How many times can I say I think that's everything?
Sounds like everything.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, PU Circuit Playoffs coming very soon. I hope everyone follows that. Grand Slam, I hope everyone's excited for that. Secret Santa, I hope everyone signs up for that. Next week's Untier Talk, I hope you all stop in and listen once again. And with that, we bid you farewell.